So this next build, I've scaled down the Guts Raider sword. First off, I want to strip as much of the gunk off this as possible before I set up the forge to flatten this out and then anneal it to work. So that's just to literally try and get as much of the crap and surface rust and things like that off it, so I'm not smashing it into the metal. My forge isn't big enough. Also, it's really windy, so it's really difficult to control any temperature. That'll do. Got to let that cool down for I don't know how long that's going to take. An hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, about that. It's annealed and beaten a little bit when it was cold to straighten it out, just to check if it was soft enough to work with, which I think it is, and it's pretty straight for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And this is going to be a pretty long knife. It's not a knife, that's sword sized, isn't it? So now back to the grinder. Take all the crap off and see how lumpy it is. I'm going to try and hit this with the sanding wheel on the grinder if I've got any what do you call it, discs left. Next thing to do, now that that's at that stage of a very rough finish, I've got to weld this hole up. You see those little pits right there, and yeah, just going to hit those with some weld and finish off. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, did it for me. Oh, got to do the tip. So, still a bit of a wobble. Ever so slight. Should be enough to start marking up the edges. Okay, that's the tip. Hopefully aligned, just taking a reference from the side, I think. Ah, this thing's gone out of whack. Ugh. side I think is good. Ah, like that, and then one-handed and looking in multiple places. Trying to match it as best as possible. Of course, this is all going to have a bevel ground into it. It's just nice to have straight sides to mark on for the reference. And might go and I've got to figure out how big the bevel is on this thing. So if it's to scale, I think it's going to be too shallow. Alright, I've been measuring up the bevel at about 6mm. That's to the inside of this line. I don't know where I've put all my ultra fine point Sharpies. I think they've all probably gone bad and I've tossed them out. I'm going to use this to take some measurements to make a template for the inside of here. That way I don't think I'm going to have enough control using an angle grinder, even with a thin disc on there, to do 1mm down on this. So I'll maybe be able to shrink down this template to fit inside here so I can mark it all out. I've just got to take some measurements off of here from the outside of these lines, and I'll go to the computer and see if I can shrink this down. Then I'll have to probably electro etch it. I had to go digging through my scrap pile to try and find what I can use to make the guard out of, and I found some offcuts of 12mm bar. Hopefully they're going to work. I need to change the belt on this to, some of them are in pretty poor shape. I thought I had a longer piece, but I must have used it for something. It's a bit windy out today. I forgot to explain what I was doing. Etching away the fuller of this. I've masked off that and I've painted it to act as the resist, and then making a wall of plasticine that goes on top of here, and then setting the power supply and just let it do its thing for however many hours. That's been 3 hours in there now, and it's done. Not a lot. That's going to take a lot of work. Once an etch is done, or part of, that's been 20 minutes in the bath, You can see the scale, and this is guessing that's the salt, but yeah, it's you have to get rid of it, otherwise it will clog up everything and not etch properly. So realign the plasticine so it doesn't leak everywhere, which it probably will anyway, because stuff's gotten under it. Put the negative electrode in. See what happens, how much this leaks. Salty water is the electrolyte. Negative, positive, I mean. Clip. And let that bubble and fizz away for another 20 minutes, half an hour. I cut out these guard pieces. I was a little concerned because of their second-hand nature, that I just wasn't happy with the finish on them. So I was out the other day, just bought some more 12mm bar. There should be enough here, I think, to cut a couple of these pieces out. It's now time to see, was all that time wasted trying to etch? I've only done one side. I'm really hoping there's enough material removed to actually just make a sort of impact. There we go. That's one side done. I kind of like the finish it left in the middle, but you can definitely see that there's probably a fuller that's a bit too wide. I mean, compared to... There's all the 45 degrees marked out for the guard pieces. Grind those down and then think about, they'll sit like that, and then I've got to think about the plate that goes in here as well, and once, actually before that, once these are ground, I've got to go along and mark out all the holes for where the rivets in the thing go. I'm still debating how to do that. There we go, that's most of the 45s ground down. I want to clamp them all together and finish them by file so they're all pretty much exact. There you go. Just some 120 grip sandpaper to give it a sort of finish. Okay, that's both sides etched in. Don't know which side turned out better, but it's got nice crisp lines on it, which is all I really wanted. Cleaning up the blade to mark the bevel. I've run out of brake clean, so I'm going to hope that this methylated spirits, which is a very funky purple colour, will take it off enough, take all the WD-40 off, or enough that I can mark the edges. Can the camera make that out? Probably not. It's got a little wobble to it. There we go. Zoom in. Enhance. 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 Alright. I mean, that's... It doesn't look right to me. It could be my eyes are playing tricks on me, which they quite often do. Oh, oh, hot, 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 hot. There we go. Now I've just got to set up to clamp these somehow to get some weld deep down in these holes. Did I forget to hit record? Or is my battery wigging out on me again? Maybe a little from column A. Maybe a little from column B. Okay, so they're all welded up. Keeping an eye on the camera. They've built up some really funky looking oxide layers on them. Shame I probably won't be able to keep them because I'll try my best because it does look very good, but these stainless steel balls are obviously a different type of steel to the mild steel, so they're different colour when they get hot. These will all just have to be quickly. The back surfaces will have to be levelled off, and there's some bits of slag and stuff that have gotten on there, but it should come off fairly easily. What I did off camera was I cut a couple of rectangles that have to go on either side here, like so, and then these go on top. Like that. That's the sides of the guard pieces, TIG welded on. That should be strong enough. Now I've just got to make that smooth without damaging anything up here, and then these pieces, which I've welded, will sit like that, and they will get welding all around. just went and quickly marked the for the 8mm and the 5mm. That's most of them roughed out. I've got to drill through the 5mm holes so I can get some welding through the back. Is that one slightly bigger? No. Yeah, it's just ever so slightly undersized. The memory. Yeah. This is those two I didn't weld in, but that one there I did weld. As I was flattening that off, what's missing from there? God damn it! Huh? There it is. Obviously that one little ball didn't get welded on there. My measurements, I think, are off. For the pommel. Not badly off. Enough. Oh, I can't see that. Now the question is, do I live with it? Or do I cut the end off here, remove it 3mm over, and then weld it back on? Oh, I'm going to chop this off and re-weld it. Pommel number 1 was a disaster. Nothing lines up. Number 2 was looking better, but it's a parallax error where a small deviation adds up to the entire thing, but I just sort of ploughed on with it. I still wasn't happy with it. I'm setting up to cut a third one. I may actually get some steel bar and line it up so I can make a really... doing it freehand, I tend to sort of do a curve while I'm cutting. Fairly square for the moment. This is my reference edge. I've marked that when they were both together, so obviously that's the wrong way around. That is the right way. This is the I hope that's the surface that I made flat before I started marking everything. What I want to do is use these two reference corners here to mark the center, and then drill a hole, bolt these together, and get them square. I don't know why I've been struggling so hard to mark these accurately. It's I've had to put my glasses on. This is about my focal distance now. Yeah. That's terrible. I guess it's not that bad. See that? Maybe. There's it's 0.5 millimeter. So I used a compass to mark out where these are, but the center point there I didn't hit accurately and it went too deep. So what happens is the pin, the center pin of this is rocking around in the center, and that's causing that error, as I only just realized. It's 0.5 millimeter, something to get upset about. No, that side needs to come in. It's not by much. How does it look? It's still wonky to me. You can see that? Whoop. That one there is ever so slightly off. Same with that one. They're wonky again. Off by, from the center to the outside, they're off by 1 millimeter or so. And I have a theory that if once all the studs are in, I line it up with the sword handle, As long as I can get this aligned with the stud up here, it should look fine. It's been a while. Winter's come early here for Australia. It's 10 degrees Celsius. I've been neglecting the sword. I'm filming this on my phone because I'm far too lazy. As you can see, the pommel is attached now. I neglected to film any of that, but it was a whole bunch of just fiddling around, adjusting this to be in line with these holes here, and blah blah blah, lots of fiddly stuff. That's sort of in line. It's the best I can do. I'm still learning how to do this stuff. I can stick metal together, and I got some great ideas, but yeah, a learning process. Just plain old canola oil for hardening. Yeah, that'll do. Gas might be a little low. Forge isn't quite big enough to do this either, so heated the oil up first. hopefully that's some sort of success. You can see the handle was getting a bit warm, but that's only mild steel. Shouldn't matter too much. Just let this cool down. Let it cool down somewhere. Solution to the tempering problem. Alright, it's now 20 past 5. Yes. I don't think it's been getting hot enough. Oh yeah, very. I'm gonna nuke it for last 10 minutes. Oh, nuke it for the last 10 minutes. It's now dark. Well, dark enough if I turn this off. Oh, you can still sort of see. Alright, it's cooled down to a temperature that can be handled. Again, it's really hard to tell with this because of the center, but I think the tip got a little bit too hot, and yeah, it depends on the angle of the viewing. You can see some color differences there. Maybe a little too hot. I think it's fine. It is it's done as far as I'm concerned. The handle wrapping is just some gauze, bandaging, and it's on there semi-tight, but it just means that whoever has this, they can just rewrap it with just ordinary things you get anywhere, really. You could wrap it in leather if you wanted. Not much of an edge on there, sharpness wise, but it's it's good enough. Not going to be any smash video with this because I don't want to run the risk of getting the handle all dirty. And that took far longer than it should with all the things going on. So it's just covered in WD-40 at the moment. Yeah. Interesting.